You gotta love spring in the South. 85 one day, 32 the next day. But you know what? That's the same conditions that your everyday angler is faced with. It's supposed to be warm, the fish are ready to go up and spawn, but we're going to fish the conditions and we're going to see what we can make of it. Let's see how long it takes us to put the pieces of this puzzle together, see if we can make them bite today. Oh, South Carolina guard dogs. Absolute temperamental little buck bass up here. You know, we started throwing an ocho in there and he was aggressive towards it, but he never would actually eat it. So I pick up the game hog and I mean, he absolutely changed his tune. His attitude changed. He got way more aggressive. So that just goes to show you, if you do go down the bank and you see one while you're fishing and you flip in there with something and they don't show up any never mind, that they just don't pay it a whole lot of attention, switch to something else. It always doesn't have to be a bright color. Natural colors make a big difference. This little guy's been up there. He hadn't been up there real long. His tail's not bloody on the bottom or anything, so he's just making a bed. So there's still lots of waves in this lake that are coming and going. Put this guy back and see if we can't find another one. Beautiful spring day. Obviously it's cold this morning. Even though it's cold, we have seen 15, 20 boats, 10 kayakers, and people just fishing. That's amazing. It's great for the sport. It's great for the industry. And I remember when I could go fishing on a weekday, and honestly, if I saw another boat, I was surprised. Now, I go fishing, we practice throughout the week sometimes, and I'll fun fish myself during the week when I'm home or in between events, and I'm never alone on the water anymore. The sport of bass fishing is truly growing, which is great. I mean, everybody's getting outdoors. We can attribute that to COVID. We can attribute that to, you know, the pandemic, however you want to see, because getting outdoors was something that people could do. They could social distance that way, and it's stuck. You know, people are here, they're here to stay, and it's showing that on the water, there's a lot more fish being caught. The lakes are a lot more pressured. They're spending their money on things that they can do outdoors. I think that, you know, the pandemic has done some good. It has helped us rediscover the simple things in life, such as fishing, that bring family together, that people can do with one another, their son and dad and daughter, brother and sister. Everyone can enjoy that together. Another ocho fish there. Get a hold of this fella. Get him off. So it's getting a little later in the morning. This morning was really tough. It was 32 degrees, strong north wind, and it was just tough. We didn't get a lot of bites. We started off throwing a moving bait, and we really slowed down. I picked up that ocho with a 3/16 ounce weight, something that I always rely on in the springtime when it gets really tough to fish. And you really just want to bear down and have some fun and catch some and compete in tournaments. Something that I keep with me. We pick it up and we catch two within 5 minutes. We've already kind of put ourselves in the game, include ourselves in. So that's just something to keep in your mind. Don't hesitate to just go and slow way down when things aren't going the way you want them to go. Little fella right off the end of that dock, getting ready to go in. And you know, when we get those post-frontal conditions, how much sometimes they want something over their head like a dock or a log. So we'll definitely keep that in consideration and just kind of push that a little bit more.
starting to set up after 2 days of falling water and absolute the worst conditions that you could ask for. These old males are starting to really set up there and the females are starting to come. That's a beautiful, beautiful fish for here in the South, and just an ideal, you know, quality bass. I wish there were more of them up, you know. They're constantly coming in. We're seeing more and more of these fish as we're cruising down the bank, but they're just not willing to just be in that fixed position because of the falling water and the temperatures that we have. Finally got that old dock bite we've been looking for this morning. Do a little dance with him there. You know, when the sun gets high and you really think that these fish are starting to pull in, never overlook those docks, the ends of those docks with a wacky worm or an ocho, a fat baby finesse worm, just another, you know, target that is a really high percentage area to catch a fish that's staging or actually done. When they're done spawning, they'll go right back over there to recover. So nice little male bass there. We'll put him back, see if we can't catch a couple more. When we're fishing the spawn, we're all trying to catch the 5 biggest fish that we can. Those are the big females that carry the best brood eggs and the most genetic that we're after. That's why we have these programs that are breeding large bass and turning them loose into our lakes. That's a big one. That's them the ones we were looking for. Ooh, she's angry. Right there. Look at there. We were talking about this just a couple minutes ago whenever we got around those docks, about how you really need to put it right in the middle of those docks. And the last 3 fish that we've actually caught right in the heart of those docks, which tells me a lot. You know, throughout the day I've been hitting the corners and things like that, and we haven't had a lot of success. And as soon as we start putting it deep in the heart of those docks, it just comes together. So that's a really beautiful fish, just healthy, good springtime. It's exactly what we come out here for. So we're gonna put this one back and just keep after them. I mean, that's what keeps me coming back. That's like the hole-in-one in golf, when you skip it underneath that dock and then that line just jumps, takes off, and you get one of these beauties. To be able to catch those big females, weigh them and release them right back to where we caught them from if we caught them off a bed, she's gonna go and release her eggs on that bed instead of us putting her in a live well, carrying her to another end of the lake after we've carried her around all day, and then release her somewhere else where she ultimately may not use those eggs. She may dump them and just lose them. So it's just something that I really think that we all should take into consideration. It's something that I've really come to take into my mind and admire. It's just something to keep in mind whenever you're out fishing for your next event. Just remember, this is the future of the sport and we have to leave it for others.